This is the new Fiat Grande Panda, and it looks like Fiat has gone a little bit 1980s retro, because it sort of reminds me of an 8-bit version of a car. Yeah, when I was a kid we used to play video games that looked like this. And this car sort of reminds me of those. Anyway, in this video I'm going to tell you if it's any good and whether you should consider it over its competitors such as the Hyundai Insta, the BYD Dolphin Surf and the Renault 5. To do that, I'll talk you around the exterior. I really like that. Show you through the interior. They look like they're from some toy. See how practical the car is. Catch it, come on. I'll take it for a drive and really frighten cameraman Lewis. And of course I'll tell you what's good about it. Ooh, oh hello. And what's not so good about it. Are you okay? Anyway, I'm Matt Watson and you're watching CarWow. Let's start this video by talking about the design, and before you turn off the video because you think, oh, this is just an electric car, don't worry, you can get a petrol version and they look identical inside and out. More on that in a moment. So the design, I like it. It's sort of Minecrafty, isn't it? I love the design of the headlamps. They're just like big blocky squares, and you've got the square effect going over the grille. The asymmetrical Fiat badge there, looking very retro and cool. It's nice. I think it works in this colour. Some people don't like it. Here's some other colour options. I think that one is the best. Now, as we move down the side, alloy wheels start at 16 inches. Oh no, they don't. They start on steel wheels for the entry-level car. Then you get to 16 alloys and then 17s on this range topper. Now, as you look about the car, there's various like nods to Fiat's branding of the past. Like there's the old like 4 like stripes on old Fiats that you used to get there. I'll show you somewhere else you see them. Down the side, you got like Panda embossed into the door. That is cool. You got some roof bars on this top spec version. Entry-level models don't get that. You've got blacked out windows. Do you know what? It's a bit annoying that you can't deselect the blacked out windows because I'd rather not have them. I quite like the way that the door handles are contrasted though. That's nice. And then I want to show you a little feature that really reminds me of when I was a kid in the 80s, because you used to have these rulers which would have like this effect on them where if you looked at them from this angle you'd see a monkey, and if you looked at them from that angle you'd see a shark or something like that. Look, they've got that going on here. It goes from the word Fiat to Fiat's 4-stripe logo. Can you see that? Do you see that, Lewis? Have you seen it? Okay, we can move on. Let's move around to the back. It all gets very blocky and like plasticky, but not in a bad way. It sort of just feels like someone has increased the size of one of their toy radio controlled cars. There's more branding which is quite cool as well, like the Fiat badge there, once again embossed into the metal. And the way Panda is like this 3D effect badging there. I've never seen anything like that on a car. I really like that. It's clever. Oh, and look down here, more Fiat stripes there as well. Overall, I think this is a really good looking little car. I like it, I want it, and that's important. When you consider just how desirable looking this little car is, you'll be amazed at the price. It's really good value. So it starts at this, that is for the petrol version. For the electric version, it starts from that. This range topper electric version with all the bells and whistles is this much. Now this is how much its competitors cost. So you've got the Hyundai Insta, it starts from this. The range topper is that. The Renault 5, it starts from this. The range topper is that. The BYD Dolphin Surf, which doesn't look anywhere near as good as this, starts from this, and the range topper is that. The interior of the Fiat Grande Panda is as cool as the exterior. Now, this is the top spec version, so it's got everything on it. But have a look around the cabin. It's got so many features and details and coolness about it. In fact, do you know what? It does this thing where it sort of leans into its cheapness and affordability. And there's 2 areas where you can see that. The first is on the steering wheel centre boss. I mean, this, normally I would be like criticising Fiat for having such cheap feeling plastic here, but it sort of works. Like the design of it, because it's chunky, I'll let it go. And because it's got this expensive looking Fiat font in this sort of ceramic feeling paint. Nice. And then look at these air vents. They look like they're from some toy and they've just been stuck on. But once again, you forgive it because it just works with this highlighting going on and the chunkiness of them. I also like this around the infotainment system. Now this loop is supposed to be a nod to the old test track on the roof of the Fiat building. Look, it's even got a little old school Fiat Panda whizzing around it. I have found a problem though. It seems to be coming loose. Don't know whether that's just this car that's been abused by journalists, but there we go. Now, this being the top spec car, you get this like bamboo box effect thing. So this fibre is made from recycled bamboo and it looks like wood. It's even got imperfections in it like wood, though that imperfection is particularly imperfect for my liking. It's doing my head in a little bit. But, you know, I don't really mind because I then look at the seats and I love the padded effect on them, and they're comfy and squidgy and just work. And I don't even mind that there's like cheap feeling plastics because they've got a cool colour to them and a nice texture, though I have noticed this problem. This does scratch quite easily. There's lots of scratches there already on the door, and I don't really want to do this, but I need to just illustrate to you. But it is a press car and this is what it's for. Look, I put a scratch in it and it won't come out. You have kids in here like bashing it with their toys and stuff, it could look pretty messy pretty soon. Same with this stuff down here, the black shiny plastic down here. Yeah, that's going to scratch and get grubby as well. But these kind of materials, although cheap, look chunky and look cool. And actually some of this car doesn't feel cheap. These switches feel more expensive than on a BMW X3, though to be fair, these days that isn't saying much. Cameraman Lewis has noticed a few things. First one is this. You see this tray here? He says that reminds him of the sink on an old caravan, and I sort of see his point. And then this bit here, he said that reminded him of when he was in like design and technology at school and he had to make a key fob for his dad out of acrylic and sending it down. And I sort of see his point with that as well. But we can forgive this car because it all just kind of works and it's good value for money. Yeah, it's got character. The infotainment system isn't overly complex. There's not much going on really, but it's easy to use and you can easily connect your phone to it as well. And let's face it, you're just going to hook up your phone and use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Don't look at what I've been listening to. It's very embarrassing. There we go. Look, and it's reasonably zippy. And the graphics are fine. Digital driver's display there, which doesn't have much information, but it's got the most important thing, nice, big and clear, the speedo. It's also got your range and your charge and stuff like that. You can cycle through one or two menus and control a few things, but there's not really much going on there. You're not going to deal with that much. And these buttons on the steering wheel, they are one panel, like to save money, but at least they're not just touch sensitive buttons, so that's good. What's even better is this though. Climate control is separate to the infotainment screen. You have physical buttons. Now you do need to step up to the very range topper to get automatic climate control. Then though you get heated seats and heated steering wheel, which is nice. Down here you got two USB-Cs, 12-volt socket, wireless charging pad on this top spec version. In terms of practicality, you've got a decent sized glove box there. You've got this sync tray there. You've also got some storage in there as well. You've got a little bit of storage underneath here. Actually that's deep enough for a bottle, see? Then you've got some more bottle space there, and you can fit a bottle in the door bin, and even look, you can just about squeeze a big bottle in there as well. Plus that big bottle will go in there without getting in your way. Finally, if there is one grumble I have about the interior, it's this. Well, there's enough up and down action in the steering wheel. I just wish it would move a little bit closer, because I want it a bit closer, but I don't want to be closer to the pedal. So that's the only thing that annoys me slightly about the interior of this car. Other than that, it's pretty impressive for the price. The back seats on the Fiat Grande Panda are fairly decent for a small car. So headroom, I think that's good. Knee room, it is acceptable. Foot space, So if you have the petrol version, you have a deeper footwell, but on the electric version, which is obviously what this is, underneath the floor, the batteries, so the footwells aren't so deep. That does mean that you don't have quite so much under thigh support from the chairs because you can't like push your feet down so far. It's not terrible though, and I've got this seat in my usual driving position. I've raised it up slightly, but then I can just slide my feet underneath the chair in front, which makes it a bit more comfortable if you're going a longer distance in this car. So if I try the middle seat, you're going to get on this camera a great shot of my crotch. But now what I'm going to do is bring in cameraman Lewis. Come on, cameraman Lewis, and you get. And Drew John, James, that's it. So shoulder room, it's tight. Wait a minute, we're all wearing very similar coloured tops.
Oh, yeah. On Wednesdays we wear pink.
Anyway, it's tight, we're a bit wedged in, but for a small car, it's not bad, is it?
No.
And headroom, look at that, look! Even like with me pushing you out to the side, it's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, right, that's enough of getting cosy like this. I'm getting a little bit too much kind of like pastely red going on. Let's get out of there. Okay, so that's all right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit a child seat. See what that's like. So the Isofix anchor points, I just want to point this out first. I don't like the zippy ones. They're just, you always feel like the zip's going to break. Oh, and the anchor point's quite deep in there, but let's see if I can locate them easy enough with this. Okay. Door is just about wide enough, but I'm already encountering a slight problem. Yeah, this is the thing when the Isofix anchor points are like buried quite deep. A child seat with an annoying anchoring mechanism like this one has. Oh, there we go. Sometimes it works perfectly like that. Other times, like on this side, it doesn't. Are we on? Where's the hole? Where's the latch? Are we in? Right, there we go, finally. Oh, no, that down. Getting out of breath doing this. Okay, the question is, can I spin this around without having to move the passenger seat forward? It's a win if we can. No. So that's going to have to be moved ever so slightly forward. It's not a deal breaker. And I do guess that this is a small car. It is doable though. Let's just get this out of here. Magic. Last few things to show you. So rear windows go pretty much all the way down, which is good. Door bins can hold a big bottle. You do have to move up to the mid-spec if you want these pockets on the seat backs, and this one is particularly handy for a mobile phone. And you need this top-spec version if you want USB charging here in the back, which seems a bit mean, and more reason to just go for the top-spec car. Let's check out the boot on the Fiat Grande Panda. Probably not saying it right, sounds better if you're like Italian, go Grande Panda. It's a terrible Italian impression. Anyway, there's nothing fancy about it. The release is there, there's no electronic tailgate, and actually watch this. See that shake? It's built down to a price, this car, even though it doesn't look like it is. Anyhow, big capacity. On this electric version, 360 litres, which is pretty good for this class of car. And on the petrol version, it's 412 litres. There's a bit more space in the petrol car for some reason, maybe. Bit more under here, I don't know. Anyhow, there is a bit of a load lip, as you can see, to lift things over, but what I'm going to do is check out how many airplane carry-on suitcases I can fit into this car. Right. Oh, that's already problematic. Oh no. I've got to get this right. Here we go. 1. Oh no, 2. There is a knack. Watch. 3. Ooh, 4. Ooh. Oh, I don't know about this. If I can get that in there. Oh. Let's do the knack. 5. And there's more room on top for some. Let's see. 6. Definitely. Easy. That's impressive. Okay, let's just get all these out. Quick smart. People tell me off for like throwing parcel shelves, but I'm willing to throw my own stuff as well. Catch them. Come on. Catch it. Come on. You used to play rugby, didn't you? Come on, rugby bro. So, while it might be a decent sized boot, the lack of functionality is now evident. Look, nowhere to put the parcel shelf. So get ready for this one as well, mate. Catch that. Yes! Okay, look in here, there's nothing apart from a couple of tie down points, and that's it. Just going to fold the rear seats down. There is no like central armrest or through loading, but that's kind of normal on these budget cars. And a massive load lip, so do you want to chuck one back? So it's a bit hard to push things to the front. So when you're really loading it full, that'll be a bit more impractical, but overall not bad at all. Though, look at this is annoying. Watch what happens. Look, when I fold this back, will my seat belt snag? Yeah, a little bit. Let's try on the other side. Is it going to snag? A little bit, but it's not terrible, but it is a bit of a pain. Now, you don't have that problem when you fold down the seats on the Hyundai Insta. In fact, its back seats are a little bit more configurable and clever. If you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, click on the pop-up banner up there or scan the QR code on the screen. Now, you can also see the latest deals on the Insta and loads of other cars through CarWow while you're there. Anyway, that brings on to 5 annoying things about this car. I think all electric cars should have one pedal driving, which means that when you lift your foot off the accelerator, the car will slow down and come to a complete standstill. That means that you don't have to hold it on the brake to stop it like driving away. This one doesn't do that. This one is more like an old-fashioned internal combustion engine car with an automatic gearbox. Look, my foot is on the brake. I'm now going to release it, and I'd like the car to just stay where it is. It's going. Look, I'm not touching anything. Look, my feet are up in the air. I'm not touching anything. It's going. Yeah, see, I have to touch the brake now to slow down. One of the reasons most people will be attracted to this car is because of the way it looks, which means that they're image conscious. So why wouldn't you give image conscious people the ability to check their image in a mirror? There's no vanity mirrors. How cheap's that? The marking guidelines in the reversing camera are a little bit pessimistic. If you look here, you would think that I will end up like driving into his legs and crushing his toes. However, if you look in the mirror, you can see there's enough space. I'm going to prove it by driving and not breaking his body. Look, 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 look. Look, 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 look. Look, 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 look. Look. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
That's all right, isn't it? See? One of the problems with these cool looking shallow rear windows is that you can't fit very big rear window wipers. Look, I mean, look at the size of this. Look at that. Look at that. It's tiny, isn't it? Hopefully I can put this back on. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just demonstrate now. So you'll see the sweep path isn't huge. Go. Look. I mean, how much of the actual window surface area is that? That's what, like less than half, isn't it? You can't get this car with adaptive cruise control with lane keeping assist at all, which is odd because most of its competitors offer it. You just get standard old cruise control. However, there is one area of technology that I do like, and while all cars are now fitted with speed limit warning and lane departure warning, which beeps and bongs away, and it's usually a faff to turn off, with this car, oh, they've thought about that. There's dedicated buttons down here which are easy to access, which you can turn them off very, very easily every time you get into the car, which is brilliant. Look, off with that, lane departure warning, off with the speed limit recognition, off, go.
And here are some more good things about this Fiat Grande Panda.
You have your normal charging port here, right? Look, so that's your AC and that's your DC there. But if you come to the front, look at this. You know how you normally like have to carry like a cable in the car just in case you need to charge at one of those AC charging points that doesn't have a cable attached? Check it out. Put my hand in here. Ooh, ooh, oh hello. Look, it's got a built-in one. No cables like rattling around the boot. That's good. A bit annoying though if you fit the 11 kilowatt charging for AC to this car as an option, which is quite worthwhile doing. You can't then have this. Reason being is that if you have the 11 kilowatt charger, you need a bigger cable which won't go in there, so you don't get it. But still, it's a nice feature if you don't opt for the 11 kilowatt AC charging. Do you know what I wish? I wish that was just a normal another charging port so you could just pull in to charge like that. And you have another on the side. That would have been better. But still, it's better than nothing, isn't it? This car has a brilliant little slot where you can store your key when you're in the car. It's also got a way that you always know whether you've turned the car on or turned it off, and you're less likely to lose your key as well. Shall I show you what it is? You take that, you put that in that slot there, and to turn the car on, you know for sure you've turned it on because you turn it like that, and you can tell then that it's on. It's brilliant. And then when you go to get out of the car, you know where your key is, it's there, and you turn the car off, you take your key, it's in your hand, you don't leave it, your car's not still on, and then you can exit the vehicle like that, knowing that you're not going to lose your key. It's f***ing genius. While this Fiat only comes with like the normal 3-year warranty for the majority of the car, the battery is actually warranted for 8 years. So if you're a battery worrier and think, oh no, is the battery all going to die and stuff, it's warranted for 8 years and 100,000 miles. Probably not going to do 100,000 miles over 8 years, are you really? Not in something like this. It seems that more and more European car manufacturers are finally understanding that the Asian manufacturers do it best when it comes to backrest on a car. Rather than like some silly ratchet system you start to operate, you just have a lever and then you have a fast release. Oh yeah, and I tell you what, we all like a fast release. One of the great things about this Fiat Grande Panda is the fact that it's not one of those cars that you look at and go, oh, it's really super cool, but oh, it's electric, so it won't fit with my life because it's got a flat in London, got nowhere to charge it. Because you can get it with a 1.2 litre turbocharged petrol engine. That has 110 horsepower. Oh yeah, and it drives the front wheels by a 6-speed automatic gearbox. Does 0 to 60 in 10 seconds. This electric version has an electric motor with 113 horsepower. So the same horsepower. However, it's slower to 60 miles an hour because it weighs 1.5 tons as opposed to 1.3 tons for the petrol. 0 to 60 time on this is supposed to be 11.5 seconds. But what is the reality? Let's find out. Now, I'm normally used to front-wheel drive electric cars having a bit of wheel spin when they launch, but this probably won't because it hasn't got that much power. Let's see what the time is then. Specialist timing gear here, going to floor the throttle. 3, 2, 1, go. Very leisurely takeaway. Be fine actually though for away from the lights. Decent performance now. Feels quicker than 11 seconds, let's see. And I was correct. 10.16. So, by EV standards, no rocket ship. But, you know, for this kind of car, It's adequate. I suppose what's more important than like 0 to 60 miles an hour test is that mid-range pickup, and electric cars are generally good for that. So let's time this car from 30 to 70 miles an hour. We're going to set the timer going. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, well, 68, I had to back off, didn't want to break the law. But you get the idea. It's not the fastest, but it's got enough punch to be able to overtake stuff. Really, I think that for a small car, the performance of this Fiat is adequate. But what's the braking performance like? Because in some ways that's more important, especially if you're doing a lot of like driving around town or in busy areas where someone might suddenly step out in front of you. Let's do a brake test from 60 miles an hour to see if it's any good. Because this hasn't got a massive battery, it's relatively light for an EV. So I'm hoping for a decent braking distance. Good would be around 35 meters. Okay, 36. Anything getting too over that isn't great. Right, let's get to 60 into a full emergency stop. Here we go, we're at 60 now, and we're going to do it. It took ages to get to 60. What did we do? Really good. Yeah, that lightweight did the job absolutely. 33 meters. Now, while the braking performance is really good, what actually matters is how easy it is to control the braking, because sometimes in electric cars, they can be a little bit grabby. So let's try it around town and see how smooth it is to drive and generally how easy it is to live with. Okay, I'm going to test it now. So just gently brushing it. I don't think that's too grabby at all. I've definitely felt worse in electric cars. I'm going to give it more of a little kind of, no. That's quite smooth. I can't really tell the difference between the regen and the normal friction brakes, though I am very cross that I'm having to press the brake pedal at all because it hasn't got that blooming one pedal drive. Anyway, rest of it though, because you sit reasonably high, higher than in a normal hatchback, view forward's great. These pillars are quite big, but door mirrors are large enough. The back window is quite small, and problem, the rear pillar is one big blind spot. I'm not happy about that. That does just impair the overall visibility. Right, let's come to the turning circle. It's pretty decent. This is the turning circle, and this is how it compares to some of its key competitors. So, let's give it a go. I've got a truck behind me. Hopefully I won't annoy it. Now, I haven't got surround cameras. We've got all-round parking sensors, but parking sensors are pessimistic. I think I'm going to do this. It's saying it's fine. Loads of space. Right, so I'm doing quite a lot of little bit of braking here, and it's not too jerky. And then I want to show you this. Look, finger steering, light steering, good in town. You're going to be driving this car around in town quite a lot. It does a good job of it. I've not got anything else to say about it really. Fiat is part of what's called the Stellantis group, which also owns all these different brands. And what they like to do is use lots of parts across a whole range of different cars, across different manufacturers. So this underneath is the same pretty much as a Citroën EC3. However, a few things have been tweaked, such as the suspension. So they've tried to make it a little bit more firm to make the car just a bit more sporty. What has that done to how it drives? Well, it feels ever so slightly firmer, so the car suspension is a bit more jiggly, and it does jiggle quite a lot over rough surfaces, but it's not necessarily bad because the suspension itself is quite soft, so it soaks most of it up, so it's not unpleasant. Like, here's a rough surface here and it's just like feels okay. The old clonk with the deeper potholes that you probably don't get so much with the Citroën, but it's fine. Do you know what it's a bit like? So I'm going to give you an analogy that you probably won't relate to, but anyone who's ever driven a lorry will have sat on a hydro pneumatic seat. So it's like this seat that has suspension in it that cushions you from the bumps, and that's what this car feels like the way it goes down the road. But obviously the reason Fiat went for slightly stiffer suspension over the Citroën was to make the car feel more sporty. It's not really sporty. It's fine. So corner, whoop, yep, fine. This is going in quite quickly. Actually, front end grips well, fine. Fun, not really. If you want that, I think that something like a Renault 5 is a better bet, and you can see my full in-depth video review of that car by clicking up there or scanning the QR code on screen now. But you know, the handling's fine. The steering, yes, it's very light and you don't really get any feel from it at all, but it puts the car where you expect it to, which is all you really need. And here's a fast corner and a lorry, and we're absolutely fine with that. Lewis, who's there close to the lorry, were you worried?
Tiny bit. Only because lorry, not the car.
But I thought I had that. The car had that, I had that. Me from the driver's seat, I was comfortable. Him, he was closer to the point of impact, less so. But he was just, that's because he wasn't in control. I was, the car was, everything was fine. Let's move on. You've got to remember this car's price. Bit of road noise, not too much wind noise to tell you the truth, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Seats are reasonably comfy. One thing that's less good though is the range. So, roughly, we've got like half the battery left, 60 miles, so total range, working that out to 120 miles. Now Fiat claim up to 199 miles, but when you take that average claim consumption of 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour, that will come to about 164 miles of range, based on the fact this has a 44 kilowatt hour battery. But when you take the range, I think this one's really getting 120 miles, which isn't great, and divide that by the battery, you get an efficiency that I'm getting right now of around 2.7, 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour. Now maybe I've been driving this a little bit harder than I might if I'm trying to eke out some distance, but it's not a whole heap of range. So then what's my final verdict on the new Fiat Grande Panda? Should you avoid it, consider it, shortlist it, or just go right ahead and buy it? Well, if you're after a small car that's cool, capacious, comfy, cost effective and runs on current or combustion, you should go right ahead and buy this new Fiat. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.